Hi, welcome back. This story affects you, me, everyone else here in the South End. Helicopters buzzing over your house. My house, as a matter of fact. It happened just last week, 3:24 a.m. in the morning, if you must know. Police helicopter looking for someone.
It's your wake-up call.
It was. The FAA released a report last week on helicopter noise in L.A. without any guidelines that pilots must obey. Congressman Adam Schiff from the 28th District here in L.A. area has joined with two other congressmen to introduce a bill calling for the FAA to set restrictions, among other things, on where the helicopters can fly and how high they must fly. Congressman Schiff joins us now. What do you want? Ballpark, net, after all this stuff and the hoo-ha, what do you want? Well,
we want some relief for homeowners because we have not only the police helicopters, which, you know, they're going to be out there. We're not trying to regulate
I'm glad that if they're looking for somebody, I want them out there running around. You know, I don't care if it's 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I want them doing that.
For the police,
no, absolutely, and they still will. They still will. But we want to make sure that tour operators and paparazzi and others that are hovering over residential areas and creating a lot of noise and waking people up and interfering with the quality of life, that there's some relief for those homeowners. And we think the FAA can do something and much more than they have in the past. And right now all they're prepared to do is recommend voluntary steps, which have been tried before and haven't worked.
So the voluntary measures just aren't working. That's what you're saying. What does that mean, the voluntary measures?
Well, they've asked the helicopter operators to be more considerate of those on the ground and try to obey certain rules. And sometimes they do, and many times they don't. But the FAA can take steps and try to establish flight routes that track the freeways rather than going over some of the canyons. Those canyons act as a natural amphitheater and amplify that sound, and it can be quite loud and window rattling, and we just want to try to bring some relief.
Let's bring in Rick Dicker.
Yeah, no one knows this more than him.
Yeah, on this. I mean, I can remember, Rick, I've covered a lot of stories over the years where it's been the Lindsay Lohan thing, and they follow her for 17 miles, and there are 4 helicopters, and we knew when she was close, we could hear the helicopters. But Rick, what's your take on this?
We're very aware of the issue, and Congressman Schiff, we appreciate what you are doing. And us in the news business, we want to cover certain news events from the air, but please know that we do fly friendly. We fly high, we fly to high, we try to fly above 1,500 feet, and we don't linger either. If we're over a bad accident, we'll hit it once, we'll move on. If a story is stagnant, we'll hit it and we'll move on. And we've actually had conversations with other news media helicopters about the issue, and all of us being on the same page. So we're aware of it, and we want to work with you guys.
So what could the FAA do, you think, Rick? It's a very complex situation.
It is, and if we did create those routes, so to speak, like down certain freeways only, almost like highways in the sky, that could create more work for the controllers and create unsafe situations at times as well. There is things we can do, but if we all work together, I think we can make that happen. But everybody has to come together and be on the same page.
Well, there are routes already, and no one is advocating that anything be done unsafe, but a lot of the helicopters, when they can take those routes over the freeways, choose not to, because it may be quicker to go from point A to point B by flying over residential areas. It may save on fuel costs, but that interferes with the quality of life on the ground. So what we want to do is make sure that when it can be done safely, that they fly the recommended routes, that helicopters not unnecessarily hover, that when there are big events like Carmageddon, that the press pool their efforts. They did a much better job on Carmageddon 2 than they did on Carmageddon 1. So there's something that all agencies can do in the law enforcement area. They need to do the high pursuit chases. At the same time, sometimes law enforcement is merely moving their helicopters from one place to another for maintenance. It's not an emergency, and they can obey best practices. And over some of the hot spots, like the Hollywood sign in other neighborhoods, then we can have perhaps minimum or maximum flight altitudes to make sure the helicopters are higher, make sure they're not hovering for long periods of time. And I'm just very skeptical, frankly, that only voluntary steps, which is all the FAA is prepared to recommend at this point, will be sufficient to bring any kind of meaningful relief.
Will they be at the meeting tonight?
They will be. We'll have the helicopter operators, we'll have the homeowners that are affected, we'll have the FAA there to present the report. We'll be at the Autry Center at 7 tonight, and we look forward to hearing from everyone.
So, it sounds like a spaghetti mess, though, in a sense. Like spaghetti, to me, it's like spaghetti. Like there's stuff intertwined, what have you. And it would seem Rick makes a good point as well. Is you really don't want to also burden the traffic controllers as well. They have enough going on. So do you think that can be done without burdening?
To change the route can get dangerous because you've got those faster flying planes.
You got Santa Monica Airport here. You have the local airports,
FAA,
Burbank.
They're not going to recommend anything that would be dangerous, and we're not asking them to. But within the arena of that which is safe, there's a lot that the FAA could do to improve the quality of life for people on the ground. Sure. But the FAA doesn't view their mission that way. They view their mission as looking after industry, looking after those in the air, and the quality of life on the ground is an afterthought. And for example, in the FAA report, they talk about, well, if you had any kind of restrictions on hovering over these landmarks like the Hollywood sign, well, that could have an adverse impact, economic impact on the tour operator. Well, that's true. But it has a very adverse economic impact on the property values of those that suffer that noise.
And then hence the property tax you can charge.
Yes.
Right? Exactly. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck tonight in Burbank, correct?
Yes, at the Autry Center in Griffith Park.
All right. Thank you very much. All right.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. 7:51.
Oh, do I?
Good day.